Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. As many Sikhs know now, SikhNet and the Yogi Bhajan people have been exposed for the many violations of the Sikh Maryada and beadbi against the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib. Now here you can see in this picture the appalling beadbi that Yogi Bhajan's group and SikhNet are committing against Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib by storing Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji in a cupboard. This is evidence and proof that SikhNet and these Yogi Bhajan people disrespect Gurbani and disrespect the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib. Now, yesterday, Gurumustuk Singh, who's the director of SikhNet, responded to these allegations. And I want to read for you the response that he gave and then my response to that as well. Gurumustuk Singh says, "This is a very temporary place for the Guru, while the Guru's room is cleaned during Ishnaan Seva and then brought back into full room." Now you can see his response at the YouTube video link where they did this Ishnaan Seva, as they call it, there at the Gurdwara there in Espanola. And I'll put the link to this video in the description to my video so you can respond to Gurumustuk Singh as well. You can see Gurumustuk Singh there recording this Ishnaan Seva. So my response to Gurumustuk Singh is, and by the way, my name is Gursant Singh. Gurumustuk Singh, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. You fail to understand that Guru Sahib Ji should be afforded the correct Sikh protocol of a palang, no matter what the time period between Sukhasan and Parkash. The other appalling beadbi by you Bhajanists perform at Hacienda De Guru Ram Espanola ashram that you completely fail to address is the appalling fact that Guru Sahib Ji is left unattended 24/7, that's all the time, every day, 7 days a week, in a small niche with a sheer curtain covering the entrance after you Bhajanists perform Parkash. Even you, Gurumustuk, admit, and I quote Gurumustuk, he says, "The Guru normally is there for about 1 hour during Ishnaan Seva and then brought back into full room." You Bhajanists, I'm speaking to Gurumustuk here, do Kundalini Yoga and your Yogi Bhajan ritualistic sadhana, chanting Hindu mantras every day, and Yogi Bhajan's huge tantric photo with Guru Sahib Ji looms over Guru Sahib Ji while stuck in this niche. After 7 days of Guru Sahib Ji being in the niche, Sunday finally rolls around and you Bhajanists clean the Gurdwara, putting Guru Sahib Ji in the cupboard on the wall, again with Yogi Bhajan's huge tantric photo looming over Guru Sahib Ji as shown in your video for 1 hour or so. Now I remember that it was like 2 hours or so that Guru Sahib Ji was left in this cupboard. When I was there in Espanola, I lived there for 16 years, and they did this Ishnaan Seva once a week on Sundays. Gurumustuk, you cannot spin this beadbi by you Bhajanists into something that is acceptable to Sikhs. So why don't you just take the advice of Sikhs around the world and change to the correct Sikh protocols? Or if you don't have the power at the ashram to change this, then at least admit you Bhajanists are wrong and tell Sikhs you will suggest these needed changes in Gurdwara protocol to the ashram management. Now I want to point out some other beadbis here that I mentioned in my response. You can see here how they do this Kundalini Yoga in the Darbar of the City Guru Granth Sahib. Now, there's one Palki Sahib for Guru Granth Sahib Ji at the front of the Yogi Bhajan Dera, and then there's one in the back in this niche. We'll get to it here and I'll show you. It's right there to the left where Gurumustuk is taking those photos. So the Guru Sahib Ji that's in the niche there is kept there 24/7, as I said, with a sheer curtain. Only a sheer curtain. It's very, you can see right through it, that covers Guru Sahib Ji in this niche. Get to a better picture of it here. Now you can see it back there on the right, this niche. And then this other Palki Sahib where they keep Guru Sahib Ji is in the front of the Gurdwara. So they do their yoga, their sadhana with these Hindu mantras and these different Yogi Bhajan practices out here in the Darbar of the City Guru Granth Sahib in the Gurdwara. And usually, in all fairness, they don't have Guru Sahib Ji in Parkash in the front of the ashram here. But they do have Guru Sahib Ji in Parkash in the back, in this niche, with this sheer, very sheer, see-through curtain. So they have, when they're doing these yogas and all these things in the morning and in these yoga classes, they have their backs to Guru Sahib Ji there, that's in the niche. And over here on the left, you can see this cupboard where they've been storing Guru Sahib Ji for like this couple hours when they do Ishnaan Seva. So here you can see this niche again. Now they don't have the curtain over it here because they're doing divan here at the back of the ashram. So what happens is a very peculiar situation and very disrespectful of Guru Sahib Ji, another beadbi. When they're doing this diwan with Guru Sahib there in the back, the ashram in this niche, they end up having their backs to where Guru Sahib Ji would sit, or would be in Parkash, I should say, on Sundays. You can see there on Sundays they have a diwan where they have Guru Sahib Ji and Parkash there in the front of the ashram, or the Gurdwara. So this sets a very bad situation up. But like I said, most of the time they're doing yoga or these sadhanas and Hindu mantras with their backs here to Guru Sahib Ji that's in the niche. This is a bad situation, and my opinion is beadbi as well. They keep Yogi Bhajan's tantric paintings and images in the Darbar of the City Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You can see here in this cupboard, they keep Yogi Bhajan's photo here on the left above Guru Sahib Ji. And then they keep this very large tantric painting of Yogi Bhajan. Get to it here. You can see it here in the Darbar of the City Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Looms over the City Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And when they bring Guru Sahib in for Parkash or Sukhasan, they inevitably have to go right under these large paintings of Yogi Bhajan, these tantric paintings. You can see here when they do Sukhasan or Parkash, they have to go under these large paintings of Yogi Bhajan that looms over it. It's just really a devilish looking painting of Yogi Bhajan doing these tantric yoga practices. Now, the other thing that most Sikhs are aware of at this point, I think, is this idol or murti that the Yogi Bhajan people keep there in the Gurdwara. You can see they put money offerings to it. They adorn it with these necklaces and beads and things. They also have created this large, elaborate temple for the Siri Chand, and they worship there, and it's really very sad and disturbing that the Yogi Bhajan people cannot spend money to buy proper palang and room for Guru Sahib Ji when they spend thousands of dollars on these elaborate temples for this Siri Chand Murti, which they bow to and do all kinds of mata tegs to. It's really sad that they just have a cupboard on the wall for Guru Sahib Ji, and then they spend all this money on these elaborate temples for the Siri Chand. You can see it here again on the right. This is in front of the Yogi Bhajan Dera. They actually call it, I don't know if you can read this here, they call this Siri Maha Akal Mandir. Now a mandir is a Hindu temple. Why in the world would Yogi Bhajan name his Dera a mandir? Well, there's a lot of evidence that Yogi Bhajan had a lot of Hindu leanings. His mother was Hindu, and he participated in a lot of these Hindu pujas and had a lot of contacts with these Hindu Vata leaders in India. I was actually in Rishikesh in 2008 and met an astrologer and pundit who said that he did a lot of pujas for Yogi Bhajan's family and for Yogi Bhajan. He was the personal pundit of Yogi Bhajan's family. So it's very disturbing how many of these Hindu leanings Yogi Bhajan had. And it really permeates the Yogi Bhajan Dera there. And it really shows where these Yogi Bhajan's people's alliance and allegiances lie. Because they would rather spend their time, their energy, doing all of these mata tegs and elaborate temples, building these elaborate temples for these murtis and Hindu gods and goddesses, than to provide a proper palang for Guru Sahib Ji. Now, I also want to point out some of these other really appalling beadbis that are being committed here by the Yogi Bhajan people. As I said, they do this yoga in the Darbar of the city Guru Granth Sahib. And, some may say that, oh, Guru Sahib Ji is not in Parkash. But this sure looks like it. It's during the day. And if Guru Sahib Ji is not in Parkash, Guru Sahib Ji should be. And that brings up another really good point, and point of beadbi that the Yogi Bhajan people commit every single day. They do not attend to Guru Sahib Ji at all. They leave Guru Sahib Ji in this niche 24/7, as I told you. I lived in Espanola for 16 years, and they just leave Guru Sahib Ji in this niche, and then they have a Diwan in the morning from about 6:30 to 7 a.m. And Guru Sahib Ji for the rest of the day sits there unattended and into the night as well. So this is completely unacceptable. To leave Guru Sahib Ji there unattended and not do proper Parkash and Sukhasan every day. And it's just appalling how the Yogi Bhajan people will do a Diwan, perform a Diwan service on Sunday morning, and with the langar, and then they all take off to the movies and leave Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji in this hutch, in this niche there in the wall, which I showed you. all the time, except when they do the cleaning of the Gurdwara, and then they put Guru Sahib Ji in this cupboard for a couple hours. It's just really appalling, and it shows where their priorities lie. The priorities lie with them doing yoga, with worshiping Yogi Bhajan, with worshiping these murtis of Sri Chand, and doing these Hindu mantras, these magical thinking things that they do. I could just go on and on about all the stuff they do that is un-Sikh-like, but they want to do what they want to do. They don't want to align or follow the Sikh Rahat Maryada or submit to the discipline of being Sikhs. They want to do all this crazy stuff because they want to believe in this magical thinking, like Harry Potter or something. They want to think that they can get magical powers and do all this stuff. So they end up doing these beadbis, by like sitting with their backs to Guru Sahib Ji and not giving complete devotional service to Guru Sahib Ji. They have these murals there which have, I don't know if you can see them, but they're Hindu gods up there in the corners, the top there. Then they've got this Mary, it's a Catholic Mary, in the middle of the kunda, and then they've got the Sikh gurus all around like a rosary around this Mary. Now, I respect other religions, but the fact is that this should not be in the Darbar of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. This is a completely unacceptable mural. They've got Yogi Bhajan, his image there on the left, and Guru Ram Das Ji's image on the right. And they have them equal, which is completely unacceptable. They say, oh, this is a pretty mural, it's a piece of art. Well, fine. Well, then they shouldn't have it in the Darbar of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and it shouldn't be part of the Sikh teachings that they're putting out there. The Darbar of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is only for focus on the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. That is where the allegiance of a Sikh should always lie, and our devotional worship should always lie only with the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and not all these crazy images of Yogi Bhajan and all of these Hindu gods, these goddesses, Baba Sri Chand, goes on and on and on. Here again, they're doing yoga there in the Darbar. Their focus is on doing the yoga, doing all of these different things. This is more beadbi, in my opinion, of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, where they have these ivory tusks there at Yogi Bhajan's ranch, which only shows pain and suffering from killing these elephants. They keep Hindu gods and goddesses around this Gurdwara there at the ranch. This is an image of Ganesha there at Yogi Bhajan's ranch there that he has there. You can see here this where they worship Yogi Bhajan in this Sri Chand golden idol there. Again, this murti of Ganesha there is right there at Yogi Bhajan's ranch. They do Mata Teg and worship these Sri Chand idols. I could go on and on. Garuka lies to us. He says, no one here worships idols in any way. You can see that right down the right-hand corner, he says. This is completely false. And Garuka keeps, this is unbelievable. He keeps Yogi Bhajan's fingernails in his nitnam, or what Sikhs call it, gutka sab. This is a complete beadbi of Gurbani. You can see, read it right here, this article that was published in the 3HO newsletter. And then again, Gurumustuk's lying about all of these things again and again. This is a great article you should read. American Yogis Distort Sikh Scripture. The Sikh Free Press. I'll put a link to it. So they get the image for the press that the Yogi Bhajan people keep their backs to Guru Sahib, and then that they worship these idols of Baba Sri Chand. Garuka sang there with Ekon Karkar, worshipping this at the graves of the dead there, Yogi Bhajan. Well, thank you for your time, and I hope that we can write SikhNet about this beadbi and stop it. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.